What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big Boy Talk. I'm your host, Big Reg, and of course, we got my two of my favorite people in the world right here with me, Mr. Jada Six and Mr. Ghost. Y'all can ignore his name because I'm gonna do it throughout the stream. Um, Jay, how you doing, sir? Let's start off with you. What your week been like, sir?
Busy taking files, preparing to move, prepping the kids for their what do they call it? Their next up parade or graduation, teacher appreciation week. So I have to do that. So yeah, a lot.
I hear that, brother. I got teacher appreciation week. I've been doing stuff for my daughter for the school and stuff, and yeah. So I know exactly what you're going through, Mister Ghost. What the week been looking like, sir?
Did a couple long days. So today I got off at noon. Had a little stream earlier with Jay. Causing problems. Oh, you was
Hey,
talking
I
all
was
about
gonna
them,
bring
them
that
Trump
up.
terrorists and everything.
I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna bring that up that y'all went live earlier. I couldn't join you at the time. Um, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was slumped on the couch. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was slumped. All right, trying to catch up on some sleep. But
I was driving down the street in a hoodmobile. You could have got off the couch.
no, I couldn't have. I mean, when I tell you I was slumped, bro. There was no fighting that. But I saw the live. It was a great live. It was fire. You guys got up there. It seemed like you just had a good time, great conversation. I listened to it. Obviously I took part in the chat as well. And I'll say this. As far as the tariffs go, it hurts right now for a lot of people, but it's gonna help the country out in the long run. And I think that's what matters the most. Is long run opening up those jobs and getting prices down on everything and things like that. So, that's just my personal opinion towards that. I don't really like to talk politics too much. So I'm gonna slide right off of that and into the NFL talk.
We got timeout. It's an optional hurt.
I guess. I
It's
guess you're right.
preferential. You could go somewhere where it's going to be a cheaper price because it's where it's made, or you could say, "Hey, I want that Gucci because it's Gucci."
That's true. So let's talk about the NFL real quick and the fact that the Cowboys have traded for George Pickens, which I think is a big move for them. I see you praising over here because that gets him out of the Ravens' hairs, right? But it turns out Jerry also tried trading for Rashad Bateman. Now, what he didn't try trading for was any of the Panthers wide receivers. I just want to point that out because I guess they're just not good enough. But
He did already know. He did. But don't be mad because your GM can't fleece Jerry.
listen, listen. No, but yeah, we know you. And you know what? And your boy probably thought he was gonna be wide receiver too when he got up there. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna get all these snaps. I'm about to be the man." And then there's just like, "Nah, that's not really the plan." But no, I'm glad we didn't trade Rashad Bateman. Like I said, for me, he's Baltimore's wide receiver one, so I wouldn't have wanted to trade him because that would have left Lamar in a very tough place. And I'm tired of my quarterback being left in a tough place. But Mr. Ghost, I'm gonna start with you. Your exact thought process the second you found out that Jerry Jones on the Cowboys had gotten George Pickens from the Steelers.
You don't need 27 cornerbacks anymore, just 22. Amen.
Yeah, he went from 27 to 22. I think here's the crazy thing: we still need 27. Our cornerbacks, for some reason, are built like paper. They're all on IR ridiculously often. Jay, what were your thoughts when you saw that trade come across your screen?
The what the Pickens in what still in Cowboy trade or something else.
Yeah,
Uh, we'll see. Like I'm not gonna lie. Jerry continues to surround Dak or bend to Dak's will. I don't know why. He's trying to build our O line again. Props to him, even though Tyler Booker should not have taken the 13th or whatever pick, but I digress. But he's trying. Like CeeDee Lamb, his star receiver, has been begging for a wide receiver too, and he got him one. Dare I say how they doing in the Bengals? 1A, 1B. We'll see. But I hope it works out. Makes stuff interesting in that division. So we'll see if Pickens can don't turn back into NFL young boy.
Hey, so for me, I immediately thought, just like that, the NFC North just became one of the toughest divisions to play in again.
NFC North?
I said NFC.
East.
Yes. Sorry. I don't know why I was thinking North because I was just thinking about the Vikings for some reason. Anyway, the East just became one of the toughest divisions to play in again.
They can't laugh because he got a 9-4 grind. I ain't never heard of
that. Washington, Philly, and I think Dallas now. I think Dallas had a good draft. And I think they got a lot of pieces they needed and in the right position. And they have a running back trio over there now that they're going to have to work through. But I think it'll work out. I'm not going to say, I mean, if I was talking to a Cowboys fan to make them feel good, I'd say, you know what? You guys are Super Bowl contenders. But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because I always say I'm lying, but
they could have Lamar. They wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders.
I like Dak. I like Dak a lot as a quarterback. He's just not who a lot of people think he is. I think he's, you know how they have that top tier, you know, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, you know, Josh Allen, all those guys.
He's 2 tiers down.
And then you have your Joe Burrows, your Justin Herberts, and Dak is that next tier underneath that. He's a guy that he's going to help you get wins. He can be a very good quarterback. He struggles with consistency. His big problem is consistency. But Dallas is doing the right thing. You get him the weapons, you build the O-line, you keep him clean. And just for your comment on Tyler Booker, all right? That is a New Haven, Connecticut product, all right? My boy came up out the hood, my hood at that.
Legend at the CT.
You know what I'm saying? Came up out my hood at that. So, yes, that boy deserved to be picked where he got picked. And he's going to go out there and be a dominant guard.
Hope so, because for some reason, the Cowboys love old linemen with the name Tyler. That makes him the third Tyler they have.
Yes.
The first two were good.
They love the Tylers. They love the Tylers, but they don't go wrong with their Tylers though over in Dallas. They don't. You got to give them that.
Terrible. Baltimore been terrible with the name Hayden.
Hey. Listen, Baltimore. Let's be honest. Baltimore's been terrible with a lot of names. We can't just graze through that like we ain't had 11 million draft picks that come through here and leave immediately.
Oh, not just draft picks. The Harbaugh, that's been a terrible name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Facts. But it's again, and I don't know if
Roman.
Well, I'm pretty sure y'all were both there when for Hendo's stream yesterday, where he absolutely snapped. I mean, he went off. He went off, and I started it. I started it. I put that comment in there intentionally because I knew it would light a fire under him. He knew it too. So that was all intentional by me, all for a reason. Because seeing as though we had a different audience in there, you know what I mean? I wanted it to be known. I wanted it to be put out there that Harbaugh's a problem. He's not just He's not. If you take away some of these all for some of these teams or games where Lamar has saved the game, you know what I mean. You take away Lamar Jackson, you take away Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. He's a subpar quarterback. I mean, a head coach. He's a subpar head coach. He doesn't win a Super Bowl if he doesn't have that defense. If Ray Lewis doesn't make the announcement that he's going to be on his last run, and then Joe Flacco and company doesn't have what has to be one of the best postseasons of all time, then you don't win the Super Bowl, right? And despite what people think, if you go back and you look at every one of those games, they won it in spite of John Harbaugh. And I say that because there were so many lucky plays that they got towards the end of some of those games, like the Denver game where the safety took the bad angle. Jacoby catches the ball, and it's just like, are you kidding me? Are we really able to do this right
Move
now?
off.
Yes.
That's
But
what you call a
also
moon
got to put
ball.
the cherry on top. Joe
Yeah.
had the perfect end of the year, and then we had to pay him almost double if we would have just paid him at the beginning of the year.
Yep. So, and that was, again, Baltimore waiting to the very last minute to pay their guy. Just something they're used to doing. That's just what they do. It's just a crazy situation because for some reason there's people out there. I'm not gonna name no names, but there's people out there. I go into their show and they still believe John Harbaugh. He's a guy. He's a great head coach. He's a Hall of Fame head coach. He's this and that. He's one of the best. And I'm not saying he's a bad coach, right? He's not. I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad coach, but he isn't what he appears to be. Like I'd say I'd say he's pretty good, but he's not great in my eyes. That's just me, and that's coming from a Ravens fan who's been here watching him all these years. Your thought process, Ghost. We're gonna go to you first on this one. Your thought process on what it takes in this upcoming season to try and win the Super Bowl, even though John Harbaugh is still there.
It's mental lapses. He has mental lapses. The team definitely has mental lapses. Some of these damn penalties, like if they were more mentally disciplined, even when he makes mistakes, it wouldn't matter. Because when he makes mistakes, then Matabika goes and hits Mahomes upside the head for another 15 yards with automatic first down. We just had him at 4th and 27. Like, even if you didn't get him down, he'd have thrown the ball away. One time he did throw the ball away, and Matabika hit him in the damn head, and they got a first down.
Yeah, it's the team is, for us to be looking at a head coach to be as great as he is, he struggles to get this team up to play in important games. You see they tend to start slow, but you can see it's the players that's there to fight. But then as soon as we go into those games, especially against games we're supposed to win, against lesser opponents, man, the team struggles. They struggle mightily, and that has to go back to coaching. Because you have to be able to motivate your guys to want to win and dominate every game. But
Tear
you
down
come
that
out
doghouse.
against these opponents, you come out against these opponents where they're supposed to be lesser opponents, and we're 5 minutes left in the game, and it's a tie game, and we're worried about if we're going to get out of there with the win or not. And that to me, like I said, is all on the coaching. You have to have your guys ready to play. And I think it gets overlooked at how often the team and how often they're not ready to play and how undisciplined they are, like you said. The penalties, and it's not like penalties that just happen because of the spur of the situation. They're stupid penalties. Lining up off sides, lining up when you're having your offensive line up wrong. How many times did Ronnie Stanley get called for being for that stupid offensive penalty? And they were like, "Oh, well, they're trying to make an example out of us." Well, then do your job
3
right.
times in the first 2 drives?
Yeah. Just line up correctly.
The thing is, they
have used to doing. Go ahead.
They have refs at the camps and everything when they implement these new rules, you have a ref at the camp.
Yep.
Every ref, each team gets a set of actual NFL refs, and all they do is sit there and go, that's a penalty. Okay, that's right. That's a penalty. And the worst part is, the absolute worst part is, first thing you learn as a wide receiver when you actually are old enough to be taught anything. You point that hand out, ref says good, you back forward.
Yep.
The offensive lineman can do the same damn thing because it's the same ref. You're in your stance. Cool. And if you got to, cool. When I played flag, man, I wasn't kneeling down over the ball until all y'all lined up. All y'all checked with the ref, and the ref said everybody good. And only when I was ready to snap that joint would I lean and snap it. Like we're not getting no stupid penalties.
Yeah.
Because this person ain't ready, this person ain't ready. I mean, simple stuff like you're hiking the ball when a guy's in set. I blame that on the center. Because you feel this guy run past you. And you don't look out and make sure he's set. I don't care if the QB's calling for the damn ball. If that guy's not set, I'm not hiking this ball. Because until I hike this ball, you don't do anything.
Yeah, but you know what? That's kind of a lose-lose situation for the center, right? Because if he doesn't hike the ball, the quarterback's back there going crazy. All the eyes watching him are going to say, well, the center's not doing his job. He's not snapping the ball on time. And then when he snaps it late and the QB fumbles it because it's not snapped when he expected it to be, guess what? They're going to say it's on the center. And I think that's one of the reasons why I say Linderbaum should be paid what he should be paid. Because
as a center,
he's been.
Your job is to tell your QB, because until you hike the ball, Lamar's robbing. Bruh, I'm not hiking that ball when we're going to get a 5-yard penalty anyways. Even if you get the playoff, we're taking 5 for him doing that. It don't matter.
Yeah, but they don't give the center that power in the NFL. Well, they don't give the center that power in the NFL. It's up to the QB to be ready to look and see if they're ready.
Veteran and whatnot, the offensive coordinator needs to get that play in faster. The QB needs to get it spoken faster. And guess what? Sometimes you're calling this shift because the QB just realized what defense they're in.
Yeah, the center. Well, that's more what I was about to say. The center's job is to make sure the O line set against the D line. His job is to point out, hey, we got a Mike coming here. We got a Mike linebacker coming here. Hey, watch out for this guy. He's going wide. Watch out for this guy. He's going to dive between the tackle. So he can't rightfully be leaning, looking at the wide receiver when he's got to focus on what's in front of him, especially in the NFL. That's why it's the quarterback's job to look at everything overall and say, okay, because he's got the better view. So he's supposed to look and say, okay, he's set. And that wide receiver has to do his job. And he has to know when to be set so he can snap the ball. Now, I will say this. Some of this stuff, and it gets overlooked, some of the bad snaps or mistimed snaps can also be put on the guard. Because a lot of times the center isn't actually snapping until the guard gives him the signal, which is usually a slap on the back of his thigh. So he'll slap him and say, he looks over.
Stop doing that. We reach over, hit him on the knee. We stop doing that back of the thigh.
I seen this slap on the thigh. I was just watching the tape. No, I just seen it on the tape. A video I was watching earlier of a football game from last year, and the dude slapped him on the thigh. And the reason he did it is because he was up and he's fully turned watching the QB. So he slaps him and goes like that. So he get ready to block. It's just how it happens. Different players do it differently. If he's fully down in his stance and he's not up in that half stance where he's like this, when he turns, he'll slap him when he's like that. When he's down here, he'll slap the knee.
Most of them hit the knee or they put the arm out. They put the arm out front. If old boy slapping the thigh, that's something he want to do. Okay, don't make it seem like that's the usual. He doing some wild. He doing his own thing.
Yeah, so look. He's making the point. It doesn't matter where they hit him; they make sure they hit him, and that's what I'm saying.
If he want to do some Gary type stuff, that's
for them. Cool. Yeah, the player does whatever's comfortable for them. I mean, you're trying to turn it into a pause moment, but I'm just talking football, right? We're talking the guard. It's the guard's job to make sure if the QB says, let's go, the guard does his job and hits the center. If
You
the
said the
QB
back of the
doesn't say,
thigh though.
if the
It's
QB
it's
doesn't
a
say let's go,
lot of
then you
lot
don't
of
tap
weight
the
around
center.
there to hit the wrong part of the back of anything.
It's not hitting the wrong part of anything. See, you're still having that mindset for some reason, making it a pause moment. We're not worried about that. We're worried about getting the snap off right. Right? We're worried about football flowing in a matter that is supposed to flow. Hey,
You
center says
you
hike,
picking in words
guard slaps
wisely right
him.
now.
No, I'm just talking. This is literally just how I talk. So I'm trying to think of what I'm saying
Man,
as
I'm just
I'm
messing with
saying
your
it.
age.
But the center says hike, the guard says, hey, go, and then we're good, right? Everything's flowing nicely. But if the QB doesn't say hike and that guard slaps him, well, guess what? He's gonna snap the ball. So we can't can we always blame the center for a bad snap? I don't think so. I think that has to be studied, it has to be looked at. And that's why when I look at Linderbaum, overall, he's been far better than I thought he was ever going to be, for one. For two, I think he deserves whatever money he gets. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's top two as far as centers in the NFL.
And so if they give him $27 million a year, you gonna be like,
They're not going to give him $27 million a year. I think we all realistically know the max he's going to get is maybe $20 million a year.
he's not a wide receiver, so it's possible.
Which is what I think he deserves. So look, your highest paid left tackle is what? 20, 23, 24, 22, something like that. Your highest paid center is 18.
It is, but we always pay the wrong position the most, besides QB. And we didn't
So
want to pay
here's
our
my
QB.
thing, right? If you want your center to say, yes, I'll stay, especially an all pro center, you want him to say, yes, I'll stay without hitting the free agent market, just give him the 20 million. Give him the 20 million a year. It's going to work itself out in the long run because you need to protect your quarterback because you didn't do anything else in the draft or free agency to really solidify that offensive line.
So if they offer him
But just
$27
the,
million a year for 7 years, that wouldn't be a good way to go.
No,
just to answer your question, Trenton Wirfs on the Bucks is getting an annual salary of $28.1 million per year.
28.1 tackle, right? Yeah. So there you go. Tackles get paid. Your centers get paid significantly less.
True.
So I get it why they didn't want to do the tag, right? The tag, he would have been getting 23 million. But you can afford to give this man 20 million a year to protect your quarterback.
Well, you don't want to give
Especially
him
since-
the tag because that's 100% against the salary cap immediately. Even if you worked out a deal where
I
you
get
pay
that.
him $23 million, it's not going to be a $23 million cap hit immediately.
No, I get that, right? But they're willing to pay whatever cap hit for their safety. And on top of this, and I've said this a million times, they're going to end up drafting safety in the first round again next year because Ardarius is going to be a free agent. He's going to end up going somewhere else because he's going to want to get paid, and they're going to say, you know what? Let's go draft another safety in the first round. So you're going to have Kyle, Starks, and whoever else they draft, all first round safeties.
Lay down. That's okay.
You're right. You're right. That's a phenomenal question, especially since if the center messes up, that ball goes flying the opposite way, and the defense can pluck it and take it back for a touchdown. But you know why? It's the NFL putting a value on things and not respecting the position. And you're right, Ghost. Not a lot of these centers are great centers. They're not very good centers. You're right.
You only have 7 to 8 in the whole league that can actually diagnose what protection package you should be in and other sort of things. Most of them don't. That's why Linderbaum is number 2, because at such a young age, he understands that, okay, I'm not big. I understand leverage. There's a 360-pound guy in front of me. If I lose fast, Lamar's going down. He figures out a way to get it done on most cases, and he can call the right protection. Lamar has said many times, I don't have to worry about telling the offensive line what protection to run. I just have to worry about ball being snapped, if there's a rush, move out the way, get my receiver the ball, X, Y, Z. All I have to do is read the defensive coverage and decide what to do before the play. Whatever's on the offensive line is already handled for me. And that's important for a lot of guys. Marshall Yanda used to do that for us. He left, and nobody we had on the offensive line could do that until Linderbaum got here. And you can see the difference.
So to answer Fears, he's saying, can Malachi be Ardarius' replacement?
He is.
I don't think so, and the reason why is because all you hear from the Ravens is we run three safeties. We run three safeties. If he's replacing Ardarius, who's the third safety? Who's the third safety?
He's going to
run three safeties.
They're going to run three, but what I guess what he's asking is Malachi going to replace Ardarius as the number 2 safety, so that way we don't have to pay Ardarius.
Well, but here's the thing. So in that case, yes, but I think what he's trying to ask is maybe they drafted Malachi to be
we can let him go
next year. Yeah, so we can let Ardarius go next year. But that would still mean, right? We need a third safety. So they're going to end up picking one again, right? I don't think, and he said a third round pick next year. So I don't think it would be a third rounder though. Knowing the Ravens and their mentality, if there's a safety out there,
it's going to be second rounder
guy who can play all over the field. He's going to be second. He's going to be picking the second round or higher, right?
And
that's just
another
Baltimore's
small
mentality,
basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And what I think the thing that hurts me the most is that they don't see that they already have that guy on the team, because I'm gonna slap the table about Trenton Simpson over and over and over again
every week
through the man's best seasons in college. He played safety, slot, edge. He was great in coverage, phenomenal in coverage, and that's exactly what you're drafting all these safeties to do. So
we might just move him to
let
safety.
Trenton do it. Well, you can. He has the speed. He's already shown. He ran a 4.3. He ran a 4.3, and the man plays like he runs a 4.3. So why not put him in a position to use it best, rather than saying, "Hey, we're gonna bottleneck your skills into making you an inside linebacker."
I feel like that was a shot at Owe.
No, it wasn't necessarily an Owe shot, but I mean, it was technically, right? Because Owe came out, ran a 4.3, and he doesn't play like it.
A hit dog or holler.
So Trenton, to me, that's a guy they should say, "Hey, listen, we're gonna move you to the slot. We're gonna move you to." Well, why not? What? Because he's 6'4", 220 pounds. So what? Isn't Kyle Hamilton 6'4", 220? All right then.
That's what I don't get about a lot of NFL things. Oh, he's 225 pounds, and your safety's 230. Like,
yeah, what's the difference? What's the
like
difference?
That,
let the man be a joker. You love picking up joker players.
Matter.
Exactly. You love picking up joker players, right? Your complaint is that he didn't do well as an inside linebacker, diagnosing the run and knowing when to shoot the gap, stuff like that. Okay, he didn't do that well as a senior in college either. You know why? Because his position got switched from what he originally was. So play him at his proper position and watch him be a joker on the field for you. Just like Kyle Hamilton, just like Malachi Sparks.
I have one question for you. So are you saying we drafted another Brandon Stephens?
No. I'm not saying that, because Brandon was a whole different. That was a whole different tryout.
You gotta say the whole name. He is not just a Brandon. He's a Stevens.
Okay,
first,
all right. Brandon Stevens.
Brandon Stevens,
aka BS. I call him BS. But Brandon Stevens was a whole different problem, because the man was originally a running back. He was a running back. And then they took him in college, and they had a lot of injured players. And he said, "You know what? I'll play DB for you, because we need a DB." So, to his ability there, he actually turned into a pretty good DB in college. He was decent, decent enough to get picked in the 4th round as a cornerback, right? But then he comes to Baltimore and they say, "Oh well, we're going to make you a safety," so he learns how to play safety. But then they're like, "We're going to put you on a slot instead." So then he learns how to play slot. But then they're like, "Oh no, we're going to drop you back to be an outside corner again." So now I got to relearn how to be an outside corner. So in his defense, he was screwed from the word go. Even though he had that one really good season, he was screwed from the word go because he never really had the time he needed to mature at the position. And now maybe, a couple years in the position, maybe he'll continue to grow and he'll get better there. He has sticky man-to-man coverage. It's just a matter of he doesn't turn his head around. And when he does turn his head around, he loses the receiver.
And you know what? That has been why we had drafted so many corners and nobody will say anything about it. Our cornerbacks coach is not teaching shit he needs to teach. Brandon Stephens would be a great corner. We've seen what happens when he actually gets his head around. But your job as a cornerback coach, Darrell Green said it. He even had camps. He always said it. The longer you can backpedal, the better of a corner you will be. The longer you can look at the quarterback, the better of a corner you will be. The faster you can find the ball when it is in the air, the better corner you will be. You realize Darrell Green was 5'8" or 5'9", but he was so effing fast, and his back pedal was so long. Like he would literally race high school kids in his back pedal and win. You know who shut down Randy Moss his first year? Did not have a single catch on him? Darrell Green. 5'8", 5'9". 2 Tootsie Rolls in his socks before every game. And Randy Moss, whenever he covered Randy Moss that year, Randy Moss did not have a catch on. He had a catch on every other cornerback that was on the Redskins that year, but not Darrell Green, who was the shortest.
So you want to hear something funny? You talk about the DB coach not doing his job. We have a certain head coach who was hired as a special teams coach, who used to be a special teams coach. But other than being a special teams coach, you know what else he coached? DBs.
Yeah, everything that's terrible. Which I don't understand how you're a head coach and everything that you specialized in was ass or trash.
So he comes over. He's our head coach, and he focuses a lot on the DBs. And he's always in the DB room. He said if you see him on the field, he's often talking to the DBs, and it's kind of part of what he does, right? It doesn't always look good. The DBs go out there to play, and I mean, our sloppiest part of the team last year was against the pass, dead last.
Don't forget we draft players specifically for special teams.
Yes, no, we absolutely do. Absolutely do.
Only first team in the league that was
one of the draft picks they called. The first thing they said to him was, "You ready to get out there and play some special teams?" It's like, why are we? I think it was the 3rd round pick on top of that, right? No, 4th round pick. 4th round pick was the linebacker. It was the linebacker, Teddy Buchanan. He's like, "Oh, hope you're ready to get out there and play some special teams." Immediately. Hey, we're not even going to look and see if you're good enough to start at linebacker. But you're going to get out there and play some special teams.
Even if you are good enough, you still playing special teams.
Like that's his thing, right? That's John's thing. And
and the special teams and cornerbacks coach and the cornerbacks are terrible because he lets the coaches coach.
Yeah, supposedly he lets the coaches coach.
Except for when they do good, he'd be like, "Yeah, I told him that we should be 70-30 run this game."
Yeah, well, the way he deflects certain questions.
Right. Then the next game he'll be like, "Oh, I didn't keep track of that. That's I let the coordinator call the game." Really?
Yeah, as if we didn't see. As if we didn't see. I don't know what happened to Jay, but as if we didn't watch the game and see him, changing plays or whatever he's been doing.
What's up, Hokage?
Zeke, my boy Zeke is in the building. So yeah, it's Harbs is one of those dudes, man. You just kind of gotta, I guess, roll with the punches with him. If you're gonna keep him, you're gonna live and die by his mistakes and the decisions he make. It kind of is what it is.
Take the bad with the bad.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I've become kind of numb to the fact that he's the head coach because it's just I've been obviously one of the people beating the table to get him out of here for quite some time. And it's, like I said earlier, it's not because he's the worst coach in football or anything, but sometimes your message grows stale when you're with a team and you just need to change. You need to change. And
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
After his first maybe 8 games, I have not watched a press or anything, like any interview he does. Like I'll see a random clip on YouTube as somebody clipped as a reel, or I'll see what Coach or Hendo says. But I don't watch anything that's a press or anything to do with him being interviewed. I do not waste the time or the effort to even know what time and where.
I'll say this though. You can see the difference in his interviews from when he was early in his career to now. Now he just kind of doesn't care. Like he's at so much of a stubborn point in his career that he just doesn't care now. He's like, don't ask me about injuries. You already know what I'm going to tell you. You know what I mean? He had the famous incident where he said, listen, if you're going to come here begging for the ball, then don't come here. Like talking to wide receivers. So he's just like become this guy. And I think Engraven calls him Hood Hardball. Where he just doesn't care. He doesn't care anymore. And you can see it. Like he cares about winning. He cares about football. But he's kind of got it set in, hey, y'all know what it is. It's my way or the highway. So if y'all gonna come here and ask dumb questions, I'm gonna give you dumb answers. And that's just that. So ask me what I want to be asked or don't ask nothing at all.
But that was the thing. By his 8th game, I already saw that fake ass shit that he was doing. I was like, I don't even want to deal with this.
I mean, I think we all did.
We
all did.
I watched both teams. I watched the Redskins and the Ravens. So the Redskins were the only team
anymore, right? It's the Commanders, sir. It's the Commanders.
The last time I actually watched them and hoped that they would win something, they were the Redskins. So,
oh yeah, you wasn't me with Jaden Daniels last year. Yeah, that's right. I called it, by the way. I predicted that.
Oh, I knew they'd be great because all they needed was a quarterback. Like their roster was good. They needed a quarterback. That's why when they were like, "Oh, we don't want Lamar," I said, "Y'all have a roster to win a Super Bowl if y'all have the right quarterback." Like, are y'all serious? But I used to watch both, and Shanahan was the coach when they got McNabb and RG3. And what Harf does now is what Shanahan used to do, and we used to call it Shanahanigans because we knew it was going to be some BS. Every press conference, he wasn't telling anybody anything. Like literally, he would just, we don't talk about that. Like 80% of the questions. If it wasn't a question he liked, yeah, we don't talk about that. Like players weren't even allowed to say anything related to their own injury because Shanahan would play the injury report game. And technically, the way we're looking, I'm on the left. Technically, if you're looking at the screen, you're on the left. That's cool and all. I'm just letting you know. So, anyways, like
well, her screen,
I'm messing
the way I have
you.
it laid out, but yeah,
my screen, you're on the left too. But
I figured I didn't know that. To be honest with you, I didn't know how to look.
On everybody's screen, you're on the left. I'm just saying if you.
Well, I figured mine's would be what's on YouTube because I actually have to set up certain things on here for it to be that way. But yeah,
however you set it up, it stays like that for like everybody. But it just if it wasn't a question he liked, he wouldn't let him know. He wouldn't let the players say, "Oh yeah, I have a patella tendon injury," anything like that, because he wanted to put something vague on an injury report, so a team would have to plan for you, and you wouldn't play, or plan for you, you might play. Like he just liked to do dumb stuff like that. And honestly, it was not even. It was midway through our first year, and I saw he was going to end up being like that. And I was like, I don't even got time for this. Like, I'm not even going to be invested in what you're talking about in your interviews because I know once you get comfortable, this is what we're going to deal with. And sure enough, by year 2.5, pretty much what we had to deal with. He hadn't won the Super Bowl yet, but pretty much he was already getting his way down that road.
So for me, there was a number of things he did where I was like, I'm not sure whether I like this guy or dislike this guy. And I'm not talking about, as a personal person because I don't know him, but I was talking about as a head coach, right? And the first few years, I'm like, I don't really. Things aren't clicking. He's not clicking with our superstar players. The defense was outspoken. He didn't like that. And I think I started to see early on. I want to say 2009, 2010. I was kind of like, yeah, something's got to happen here because they're clashing with him like pretty badly. And you can see it. Like, you can see it. Like, he wouldn't even attempt to talk to the defensive the not even just defense. He wouldn't attempt to talk to the leaders of the team unless it was Joe Flacco. He wouldn't attempt to talk to the leaders of the team. And then I remember pointing out to somebody too that that Joe Flacco to me was very disconnected from the team. Because 9 times out of 10, he would go out there, even if he threw an interception, he was consistent. He'd walk to the sideline and he'd just sit there. Right? And he looked like he did not care. Like, there was no anger, that's one of the things I love about Lamar is the fire, the passion you get from him. If he makes a mistake, you see it in him.
He cares.
Yeah, he cares deeply. But you didn't get that from Joe Flacco, and it bothered me. It really bothered me that you couldn't get that from Joe. And then, you know what? Seeing Harbs, how he was kind of disconnected from the players that were really outspoken. And you can see that Ray Lewis was kind of that gap, try to be that gap between the two, But once 2012 came and Ray announced he was retiring, I was like, that's it. He's going to blow the team up. And that's exactly what he did. He blew the team to bits. Ed Reed was gone. Everybody was like, all right, get out there. Anquan Bolden was like, if you got a voice, you got to go. And that's exactly what
happened. Why? Ours is what I effectively call emotional.
Oh man,
that whole just that whole just so deep down inside of him, and he can't do nothing but let it out.
You ain't even got to explain. I can tell what you meant by that by the way you put it together. So you ain't even have to explain.
Oh, I didn't call some people emotional before. Oh, they look hurt.
But it's that's just John Harbaugh though. With that being the case, coming up, they would have to try and win a Super Bowl. Now for the next, what was it, a 3-year extension? Right? 3 years.
Don't believe that.
They got to try to win in spite of him. I know he could get let go at any time. And I think a lot of times these owners set up the coaches with these extensions so that, if they don't get a job right away, they're still getting paid. I think they try to be, try to be nice and hook them up.
The owner said he just don't like lame duck coaches that are in their last year. So
that's an excuse though. To me, that's
he didn't say that for Harbaugh. He said that a long time when he hired Billy.
I know he said that.
He gave him the extension and still fired him. But I mean, if that's his thing, he's like, but that's what I'm saying. Even back then, fire you than worry about you looking at getting out the door.
Even back then, I felt like it was an excuse. Right? I felt like it was a way to say, I feel like these guys find it as a way to say, thank you for the years you've given us. For that, I'm going to give back to you by paying you for another couple of years, but we're going to go in a separate way.
To me, if you have 2 years or less on your contract and I haven't extended you yet, I'll just fire you for that lame duck year and hire the coach that I want. Because if you are, say your contract runs out in 2027, if I extend you by the beginning of the 2026 season, at the end of the 2026 season, if you ain't done a great job, I'm just going to fire you and hire somebody else.
Well, it's hard to call with John Harbaugh, right? Because Lamar is going to bring you to the playoffs every year.
But that's what I'm saying. Last year,
it looked like John did a great job.
if last year wasn't great, then yeah, I'd have been like, all right, cool. I'm gonna let you go. You're gonna get paid for this season anyways, but I gotta find who I need.
That's the problem with judging a coach off the team's performance only, is because if you got a guy like Lamar, your team's always going to perform well. I think you got to break down.
I judge it off the coach.
I think you got to break down. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you do, but these guys don't.
I know they don't, but look at Marvin Lewis.
Looking at it like, hey, we're winning.
Marvin Lewis had the Bengals competing every year, and every year, Andy Dalton or what's his name, Palmer would go down right before the playoffs, and then he lose in the playoffs, and they'd be like, "Well, you made it to the playoffs, but you didn't do anything." The starting QB's hurt. What was I going to do? He got fired for it eventually, but if you look back and look at the decisions that he made, the times he called timeouts when you needed it, the times that he said, "Okay, we're going to switch to this strategy to put us in the game," he didn't make bad calls as a coach. Maybe some roster shortcomings and, injuries at the wrong position. I think the 1 year Carson Palmer was fine. Chad got hurt. So, yeah, you have Carson Palmer finally, but TJ wasn't ready to be number one. Now, TJ's number one, and I think I forgot his last name, but Chris had already died. The third wide receiver, he had died. So the guy who was the number 3 damn sure wasn't ready to be a number 2. So it's like they'd always limp into the playoffs injured. And it's like, well, we made it to the playoffs the last 7 years, but we haven't done anything with it. Okay. We didn't have the roster.
History of having a bunch of dirty players over here too.
That's true. But his decision making was sound.
Yes. No, absolutely. Real quick, but he couldn't put. There were certain things he just couldn't put together. He did make some dumb calls every once in a while. He wasn't a bad coach though. It's just they did notice that the offense struggled a bit more under him because he was a defensive guy. But
he wasn't a GM, and he didn't even hire the offensive coordinator at the same time. But if you look at it, he hasn't been even a defensive coordinator in the NFL since.
So, real quick, because I know people are going to be like, yo, what is he turning around looking at? I have SmackDown going on my TV. I'm a huge WWE fan, okay? Always have been. Probably always will be. I'm a wrestling fan in general. WWE.
He's looking at women sweating in the ring.
Actually,
with each other.
Actually, Fraxium and the Street Profits just put on a phenomenal tag team match that I caught a glimpse of it at one point, and I just kind of at one point had to turn around and just watch to see what was going on. It was a darn good match, and I'm gonna watch all of SmackDown back again. And I'm thinking it's something I might start doing on this channel as well, covering a little bit of WWE because I am a huge fan, so I am gonna start covering wrestling some on this channel. It's definitely stuff we got to talk about, and if I'm not mistaken, they got a pay-per-view tomorrow that I'll be watching. So maybe we'll see how it goes. If I'm able to set up and stream during the event, I will. If not, we'll see. I mean, that'll be a tough, long night for the little one who I think fell asleep watching tonight. So,
is Miss Parker going to be there?
No, it's not an NXT event. It's a the main roster event only. So Miss Jada Parker will not be at the event unless they're surprisingly bringing her to the main roster for some reason, but I don't think they are.
Well, there's Jade, Naomi, and it's one more. Yeah. Gen 5, that's like the starting
Bianca Belair.
Yeah, boy.
Probably.
That a whole dream team right there.
We know you love them. We know you love them.
I like them light, like them dark, like them thick, like them slim.
Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a different range and tell you I like them for their in-ring ability. Actually, as crazy as that sounds, they're phenomenal wrestlers.
It's got to be a full package. You can't just be pretty, not like that. I
Yeah,
can't do
no,
that.
absolutely. That's one of the things where I'm starting to kind of fall back on Jade Cargill a little bit because she doesn't. She's not as crisp and clean in the ring as I would like her to be.
She's more raw
Um,
power.
she's raw power, but she can be almost a little bit clumsy every once in a while. But she's getting better. I love that because she's working hard, and they've had videos out of her working at the PC, and she's putting the work in, so she's doing a phenomenal job getting better. I like that. Like I said, Jada Parker, she's not going to be main roster ready for a while. I do think she needs a better finisher than that hip check she does. It's
It's
basically
a
like she
whole lot of boy. It's a whole lot of check.
yeah,
Discount, double check,
yeah.
baby.
My daughter just checked in. My older daughter. Shout out to you, Lee. I love you. Um, but it's it's one of those things where
Okay, I was about to say
can she can get better, a little better on the mic, get a better finisher. I think she needs to be a little more consistent in the ring, and she can definitely then she'll be ready. But tonight saw the return of one of my other favorites, Alexa Bliss, who she's another one really good in the ring. Um, great storytelling ability in the ring. So it's a lot of the women's wrestling nowadays is like
so are you saying she's like the
taking
Rakim
levels
of
way
wrestling?
up. I wouldn't say all that. I wouldn't say all that, but she's very good at what she does, but not that good. Um, but the women's wrestling nowadays is
It's
level. I think
definitely a lot better than
levels,
we had with
levels.
Moolah. A lot better than
Yeah,
we had with Moolah and Mae Young.
yeah, and even them. Listen, and shout out to them because they actually wrestled. But there was
Oh
that
yeah, they
period
did.
of where you had divas and you had, the Bella
Michelle
twins
McCool.
and Michelle McCool, and some of them ladies. I felt bad because you'd have a lady in there like Alita who could wrestle, but it was getting overshined by what WWE was at the time. So whether you were Alita,
Attitude
you could
Era.
wrestle. Yeah, man, it was just certain women that could actually wrestle. Like shout out Mickey James, she ended up being a
Ooh,
way better wrestler than I thought she was going to be.
she was thick too.
She was originally a Trish Stratus knockoff, but Trish Stratus, to me, people give her so much credit for being a great wrestler. I didn't think she was a great wrestler. I never did. I never will. Trish Stratus was not. I get it. They put her in the Hall of Fame. She had so many championships, whatever.
She was
She
popular.
she is one of the ones that got by off of that era and that worked for her. Same as the Bella Twins and people like that. But she is not on the level of what these women that are wrestling now is. And for some reason, just to point this out here, I don't like Charlotte Flair. I'm not a Charlotte Flair fan.
I didn't
I
know
think
people
she's
do.
big off of her father's name. Yeah, no, there's people out there, and I think she's big off her father's name. I think she's not half as good as some of the ladies that's out there now. And even to me, she's not as good as I think Mercedes Moné is better, and I don't like Mercedes Moné anymore. Um, I started to see that she wasn't as great as I thought she was. But as far as the original, the four horsewomen they called themselves, I think Bailey and Becky were the better of the four. And I'm starting to dislike Becky a little bit because of what her character is, but she's still a good wrestler. Where Charlotte, she injures people. She's had a history of injuring people in the ring. Mercedes, she botches a lot of moves. She damn near killed herself one time jumping out to the outside of the ring and almost fell right on top of her neck. So these things happen.
To
Jay
me,
agrees. Charlotte is a no for him.
the craziest part is I see women wrestlers, and I understand you might not know how to throw a punch, but I ain't never met a black woman who ain't know how to slap somebody.
Hey,
Like
hey.
their slaps look terrible. I'm like, bruh, if there's one thing you should know how to do as a woman,
Hey.
I don't care what race woman you are. You should be able to slap the dirt out of a dude, at least enough to from. Oh, okay. Like, what the hell? Like these slaps be just terrible. Just, and
Yeah.
I'm about to give my mama a job teaching WWE divas how to slap somebody.
Hey, listen. It's because I think a lot of it's because it's about dramatics and cinematics. They also don't want to hurt the person, like truly hurt the person they're slapping.
I could slap you right now, and it would barely sting. And it would be loud as hell. And it would be like full speed. But
What's all about
your
cupping
hand a
that
certain
palm
way.
as you cupping the palm
like,
when you
ooh.
slap them.
Like now the Chris
But,
Benoit slaps, those were serious thrill.
Those
Them
chops
real.
was G. You ain't him, Ric Flair, and
Big
I
Show
don't know
with
if
the
you know
big
him now.
pancake on ways to come down over top, boy.
Yeah, but it's a dude
Oh,
it's a dude
chest be
now,
red.
Gunther. He used to be called Walter. If I need you to look up where I'll send you a video clip. He had probably the worst chops I've ever seen. I mean, they look like I would have quit wrestling. If he hit me with one, I'd have quit. I would
Because we've
have
been
quit.
fighting.
Like the guys have come out of his matches bleeding from his chops. And like you can see it there weeks later. Weeks later, your marks from chopping me shouldn't still be on me.
We're
Like,
beefing at that point.
Yes, yeah, it just got real. Like we about to rumble for real. But that goes to show, like when you got something like that, and it would echo throughout the arena, and you would hear the chops no matter how loud the crowd was. That's how crazy they were. And he was known for this for quite a while. So guys would get in the match, and they'd be like, "Yo, I want to take the hardest chops you got." And he would do it, and most of them would just drop to the ground immediately, just fold up like this. Absolutely amazing. And he's saying the Great Khali and Big Daddy V had some just they did, but it was nothing like this, man. I'm gonna send y'all some video on Gunther.
You're glorifying abusing men.
Wow, that's crazy. We're not gonna do that. As a matter of fact, off of that, I'm gonna change the subject. We're gonna get into this NBA real quick. Have you been watching the playoffs?
You don't want to go to relationship talk?
I mean, we can, but not off of that subject. Have you been watching the NBA playoffs at all?
Somewhat. I mean, I don't really watch them that often. I'm catching highlights. I'm right there with you. A lot of these games is like I'm watching 48 minutes of basketball for like 2 minutes of actual basketball, not just chucking up threes or, hey, get to the mid range and shoot the same shot 15 times and hope that you can make 12 of them.
Jay said it. Jay said Tatum's a fraud.
I knew Tatum was a fraud when the Celtics won. I actually watched that series when the Celtics won the championship. I'm like, Jaylen Brown did all the work, did everything Tatum didn't do. But Tatum's on the Olympic team. And so was White went to the Olympic team, and Jaylen Brown's at home. The guy that they said, he's so smart, we don't know if he's actually interested in playing basketball.
Yeah. You know what? Tatum, a lot of his points for me comes from the free throw line, from what I see. Just like going back to the series against my Orlando Magic, he was scoring, he was doing his thing, but a lot of his points was coming from the line. And if he didn't get the foul, he complained to the ref, and he would get a foul the next time down.
Just be honest. He's light skinned. Just say it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But I don't think that's just it. You know, I think it's one of those things where the NBA is just where the NBA is, and it's where the NFL is. When you have a certain name, you're going to get those calls. It is what it is. I think the one guy that the NBA doesn't always give the call to is LeBron. And I think it's because LeBron has enough hate on him that NBA refs are like, we can't always give you the call, bro. We can't do that. Like, we can't. But with everybody else, they're going to get the call. And that's just kind of is what it is. But just looking at the NBA playoffs thus far, what would you say your biggest surprise of the playoffs is so far?
Shannon Sharp ain't locked up yet.
Oh man, they ain't got nothing. All
Man,
right.
that's not for that, but for the 1,500 memes, Lakers at 5.
Yeah.
That was fraud.
So for me, biggest surprise. I mean, it might have to be the Knicks. It might have to be the Knicks right now, and what they're doing.
2 years ago, the Knicks looked really good. I don't know why last year they kind of just didn't look the same, but 2 years ago they looked like they're looking right now.
I don't know. I when they got Cat, I think it was a bigger deal than people thought it was. But I'll say this: outside of them being, possibly we might get as crazy as it sounds, we might get Knicks versus Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's completely possible.
I told dude, he hits me up to be like, because I can gauge a team versus another team pretty well. As you see, me came in second on the Pick'em league, even though there's a couple of times I woke up and didn't realize I didn't put my picks in like an idiot. But I digress. And I was like, it's the Pacers that are coming out of the West. And he was like, over the Celtics? I'm like, yeah, definitely over the Celtics.
You bit the East. You said West. You bit East. But I got you.
Sorry. Coming out the East. Like, definitely over the Celtics. Like, I don't care what the Celtics got to say. I said, but to me, the Pacers and the Timberwolves were looking the best to me. And that was a week and a half ago. I was like, I bet on the Pacers and Timberwolves. Like, but at the end of the day, seemed like I wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a bad call at all. Looking at it now, I mean, unfortunately, it looks like the Pacers are going to lose to Cavaliers tonight, but they still have the home court advantage after they went out to Cleveland and won the first two. That score is currently, if the game, I mean, last time I checked, it was 113-96. So it looks like Cavaliers are gonna still win in Indiana, and they had to. They had no choice but to. Otherwise, they lost the series. It would have been a sweep. So they had to still at least win. The Timberwolves beat the Warriors. I believe Curry's out for at least a week. So they're pretty much cooked without Curry. No pun intended there. But they're cooked without Curry. And I mean, that kind of is what it is. I think the biggest surprise is, I guess, Luka and LeBron, man. I thought for sure Luka and LeBron would be at least a round 2 elimination, just based off the number of points they're able to put up. But it goes to show the NBA, you got to play some type of defense.
I was going to say, to me, Luka doesn't show up enough offensively in the playoffs like he does in the regular season. And then it's not that he don't play, but he can't play defense. Like, he kills it with the slow game on offense, but you can't slow game on defense. Like, it's just not possible to be like, oh, kill with the slow game on offense. Like, you can't do that on defense also.
I'll say this, though. The man rebounds. He gets assists.
Well, the thing with the NBA is they don't even try to get offensive rebounds anymore. It's like, okay, maybe one guy will try. But they're like, get back on defense before anything. So,
yeah.
You can get 12 defensive rebounds. Curry gets defensive rebounds by just swooping in from the three-point line after, whoever his guy is, he lets that shot off from three-point line. He starts backpedaling to be back on defense. So Curry just flies down. Nobody's boxing him out because they don't see him coming until with 10 rebounds.
This is true. Just another thing that's different with the NBA now compared to what it used to be. And again, SmackDown is partially still in my attention because we have Aleister Black and Carmelo Hayes going at it right now. Another phenomenal matchup. Two guys I'd love to see competing in the ring against each other over and over again. Phenomenal talents,
You're gonna say Carmelo Anthony.
storytelling, everything. Carmelo Hayes over Carmelo Anthony any day. He's him. He
I
is
meant the
him.
guy who's fighting the case right now.
I know. So you brought up the relationship talk. You wanted to dive into it, and we might as well go ahead and dive into it right now. When it comes to relationships,
Never
one
trust
thing I
women.
often hear. That's not where I was going with this, but well, I'll let you delve into that if you would like to. But the one thing I often hear is equality, 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 equality. But then you see the posts of the women that want a man to pay for everything, do everything, ordain ish. Where does the equality lie? Like what is really considered relationship equality these days? Like I know for me, this is just from a personal standpoint. For me, I'm willing to do whatever is needed on my behalf, right, to make the relationship work. But I only need one, that's technically two things consistently for me to be happy, right? And from there, as long as I'm happy,
Go.
that is
Go.
equality to me. If we're both happy, that is equality. That means what we're doing is perfect, right? And equality is different in every relationship. But for me, I'm only asking for one or two things, and that's it. You consistently give me those one or two things, I'm a happy man. You ain't gotta worry about nothing out of me. Um, but for these women that want a man that's going to bring everything to the table and they bring nothing, what what do you say to that as far as when they say, "Oh, we believe in relationship equality," but they want to bring nothing to the table? Where in as a man, especially if you're single, you're looking for a relationship. What do you say to a female that comes at you like that?
First, I want to say Jay's a fool for his comment. Yeah, that's where we're gonna start. And equality is cool if they want equality, but it don't look like they think it's supposed to look. Equality is I'm leading the decision 75-25. If not, 85-15. I'll still consult you on 100% of those decisions before I make this correct decision. There's certain things I'm going to look to you and say, hey, that's what you do. I need you to handle that. I got your support. A lot of these people think equality is going to be 50-50 down the middle on everything, except for the things that you deem is your gender role. But the problem is these women want to deem what gender roles are what gender roles. Oh, the trash? That's you. That's a man's problem. Oh, the cooking? Oh, we can split that 50-50. That hasn't traditionally been a woman's thing, a gender role.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you make more money, you can pay 75% of the bills. I'll pay 25% and I'll have my savings. And when you ain't got that much money, I'll tell you go out there and make some more. And I'll keep my savings.
Mm-hmm.
So they think everything's supposed to be 50-50, except for what they want it to be 50-50. But at the same time, equality just means you contribute 50% of this relationship, and I'll cover the other half of that 50% of that relationship. They're not trying to go at it. I give 100%, you give 100%, and together that whole will be made.
Yeah.
Everything ain't always equal. Sometimes you got the money, sometimes I got the money. It's just, oh yeah, we want equality. Yeah, you want equality when you decide you want to domestically abuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But let me grab your wrist mid-flight. You want to call her cops and get me arrested after you done pulled out a cast iron skillet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of honesty. And guess what? Some people can't be honest with themselves. Some people aren't self-aware. And even if you try to make certain people self-aware of themselves, they'll deny it till they fall. Their own mama could tell them, hey, your girlfriend's right. This is what you do. This is what you've always done. This is what I've always told you you need to work on.
He said, "Don't forget the
Right.
hot grits."
Well, the hot grits is the pot. The skillet probably going to be, there probably was some fish being fried in that son bitch, so it's going to be hot too. You might get the grease and then get hit with the pot and then get hit with the skillet. But, might say, hey, baby, when you walk through the door, I ain't gone to work at 6 a.m. I'm at work at 6 a.m. You wake up at 8:15. I come back home, I prep this, I clean that, take care of whatever I need to take care of. You come in the house hot, upset, and mad that you getting home at 7 o'clock. Baby, you ain't get to work till 10.
Yeah.
You come in with all this negative energy. Me and the kids out here, we chilling. We feel good. You came in with the negative energy, destroying the peace and the chi throughout the whole entire house. Now, if I leave at 6 a.m. and I come back even after you do, when I come in the house, you don't want to hear my BS. I'm relaxed. I've got my peace, and here you come with this noise. Like, people understand, you walk in with a certain energy after work, and you can disrupt the whole house.
Would it be wrong to say that women want somebody who's caring, appreciative, strong, and honest? Would it be wrong to say that?
It would be, and only because you stopped at those things.
Well, hold on. I stopped at those things because that's some of them. That's some of the main characteristics a lot of females tend to point out. Do me a favor. Take the first letter of each of those things, and what does it spell out? Caring, appreciative, strong, honest. Cash rules everything around me. So listen.
But see, that's the thing with these women. That's the starter list. Here's where we start at. And then by the time you get done, it's a list of 20 some odd things. And some of it be some shit you didn't even know existed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. But just to go off, that's supposed to be the basis though, right? When you're looking for somebody, you're supposed to start at their character. Do our characters match? Then you go from there. Do they make me laugh? You know, are we a pair physically? Do I find you attractive? You know, things like that can come. I think the most important thing is when I wake up, when I go to sleep, when I'm near you, when I'm not near you. Do I feel a difference in how I feel? Right? So if I see you, does my heart skip a beat? You know what I'm saying? Does waking up next to you make me feel better about myself? I think that stuff should matter more. And once you determine if you guys are actually a match. And now I did see one interview where a lady said she comes out and a lot of people put a thing on sleeping with somebody on a first date, right? And she goes, I don't. She's like, I don't do all that making people wait. If I find you attractive, there's things that's clicking. Yes, I'll sleep with you on the first date. And she's like, the reason why is because you don't want to get 6 months, a year in, or 6 months in, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in, and you guys sleep together for the first time and you found out you
ain't getting no work.
You're not sexually compatible. Right?
Right.
And you find out that, yeah. So here's the thing. that's tough because you can look at that two ways. You can go, okay, well, I don't want a woman that sleeps with dudes on her first date, and that determines how her relationship is going to work out. Because, damn, how many first dates have you had? How many first dates have you had, and how many of them have you actually slept with? So that brings me to another thing. Men, women, stop asking for your partner's body count early in the relationship, and pretty much at all. And the reason why is because you're gonna, no matter what that number is gonna make you look at the person differently, right? If it's a high number, you look at them like, damn, you get around. I don't know if I want to. If it's a low number, it's like,
I ain't trying to be teaching your ass anything. We passed that.
yeah,
I'm too old to be teaching you how to get down.
So it's like, of course you'll respect the woman more that has the low number.
I wouldn't.
Well, most people. Well, I'm saying from the
If
outside,
the number
looking at
crazy,
a lot of people,
then I probably ain't fucking with you anyways. But if your number is in a decent range for our age, like, you gotta think about it. Even if you want to say a woman's 35 years old, you assume maybe she started when she was 17, 18. Just an assumption. If you take that, 18 years, and a woman says, oh, well, I've had 15 partners. Well, like, damn, 15 motherfuckers?
That's not bad though, over 18 years.
Exactly. Because if you're thinking about it, you could go through shit. You got 4 or 5, even if you aren't like a freak like that, you could 4 or 5 partners in 1 year.
Yeah.
So even if you say 30 over 18 years, you could have a couple years where it's 3 or 4, and then you could have a year or 2 where it's just you dated one person. Like,
yeah, but I think I'll look at, if you tell me 30 over 18 years, I'm gonna look at it a little, damn, 30? Like,
you have one. I mean, if you're talking about 18, you got 4 college years that, even if you say one guy every 3 months, that's 4 times 4, that's 16 right there. So from the age of 18 to 22, you got 16. So you talking about 14 over the next 13 years. A couple years of 1 or 2 or 3 guys, and you could be in a long-term relationship for 6 to 8 months.
What's a ratio for you that is unacceptable?
I don't know.
I already know. Whatever they say, you got to multiply it times 3. We already know, bro.
Like, it would have to be something I'd have to like when chick pulled up said, yeah, 60. I'm like, ain't no fucking way, Sean. Like, ain't no fuck. Like, you had to be in a polygamous relationship for like at least 9 of them years.
If she said, oh, wait, run that number by me again.
She said like 60.
60. And 18 years you're still going with?
Yeah, you had to be in like an open relationship for some years.
60 is a number. That's a number.
Right. Like that, I'd be like, what the fuck, Sean? But if you were like 30, I'd be like, all right, well, if you average out a couple freaky years and then some consistent years and a couple of just whatever years, it's still going to be the same.
60, let's say she does say 60, maybe even 80. But she goes, well, I used to do OnlyFans, and I used to do, stuff like that. I used to do OF, and,
Well, that's bound for disqualification. I'm sorry.
That's automatic disqualification? I agree. I'll be honest with you.
If I got to worry about walking down the street and I walk past 3 dudes and 2 of them Jones done packed you up at the same time, and now they telling their homeboy, yo, we smashed that joint at the same time on her OnlyFans. Now one of them might say something. It's going to be uppercuts. The problem. Ratio going to rise. Somebody might catch a couple pistol whippings. Like, and even about the other shit, just because motherfuckers get sideways, I don't do the disrespect. Like that will get you fucked up real quick. Even if I don't really care, the fact that you are trying on a respect level is going to get you taking the L.
Now, so I'm gonna put this perspective on us now as men. As men, should we be held to the same standard that we hold women? Should women look at us differently based off our body count? If should they look at a man and say,
So I'm gonna stop you there.
"You've
I'm
been
gonna
with too
stop you
many
there
women."
right there. Because if you say a low body count, you automatically getting disrespected. She's looking at you like, nobody else want to fuck this motherfucker. Why the hell am I? What is wrong with him that I'm only number 7? We 30 years old. How am I only number 7? What is going on here?
Well, he could have been, in his defense, he could have been in a long relationship. It was faithful. But
You in a 5-year
that's true
relationship
though.
and you couldn't at least get a second body in that 5-year relationship, she gonna be like, so you was in a relationship, you telling me no other woman wanted you.
Well, no, not even that. He's telling you that he's that faithful.
He's telling you that he's that faithful. He's telling you that. But what you're telling a woman and what she's actually going to hear and take away from that ain't the goddamn same.
So hold on. I think it depends on, because I think the follow-up question is, if you were that faithful, why'd you and your lady split up?
Exactly.
You know
there's always going, no matter what answer you give, there's going to be something's wrong.
A second guess. Yeah, a second guess.
It doesn't matter what you give, even if you say 40. Damn, you just community, huh? Shit, either it's too low and you gotta train me, or it's too high and I was just passing it around.
Hold on, 40 something is respectable, all right? 40 something is respectable. Let it go. 40 something is respectable.
Okay, that's what I said. 40 something might be respectable, but in her mind, so you just community. Like no matter what you say, you're not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like most women don't look at it that way, right? So, but what do you think of as this is why I kind of wish we had a female on the show, so I could just ask, like, what do you think is a respectable number? Like a random female, not somebody we know or anything like that. I wish we had a random female to ask, because I would like to know what they think is a respectable number, because you get certain women in here, and certain women want a man that hasn't been around with a lot of women, and they'll say a respectable number to me is, 5. And then you'll get other women, and they'll say, "Oh, respectable number to me, he can have 150, and I'm fine with that."
All right, so if he ain't got at least 30, we don't got to talk about nothing.
Yeah, so it's just crazy because as men, just thinking about it, like it's crazy because we hold them to a standard where we see a certain number, we like, oh, I kind of know you for the streets. Like, hey, I'd rather not wife you up. You street material.
Yeah,
and then we,
you know what I mean? Tip on that, because at the end of the day, people gonna do what people gonna do. Now, if you, like I said, if you tell me something crazy, I'm gonna be like, so I gotta compete with 60 motherfuckers to try and get to number 1. Like I got to be up there. Like I feel today, you. The girl gonna be like, man, the effort he used to put into that work. Shit.
I feel you, bro. I understand that 100%. Like I can't be
worried that I'm number 60.
I can't be the bottom of the list.
Like,
yeah,
I'm your bottom of the list.
I
can't be no more than, I can't be outside the top 10.
Because I don't even
60.
Hear me now. I got to be number 1. Here's why. The rest of our lives, if we're spending the rest of our lives together, and I'm not number 1, every time we get into that argument, I'm going to wonder if you're going to see number 1 because we fought.
Hey, I'm fighting to be number 1, and even if I don't know your name yet, I'm getting that's why I said my body count ain't high. We got to have some type of emotional attachment. You got to be worth this stroke.
Like, no, I agree.
You can't be a random. You can't be like, if we are not in a good place, I'm not laying not 1/4 inch of pipe, because you got to deserve this. all this effort I'm
That's
putting in to
me.
make you feel your best.
I'd say that's more on the lines of I'm that way if I'm looking for a relationship. Because there's and let's be honest, right? As men, we could be honest about this. There's different levels of pipe we give, right?
Nah,
Well, for me it
I got one
is.
level. I'm trying to
No, for
dine that
me,
motherfucker like John Henry. You hear me?
nah, for me is different levels because you're right, right? Is if you want the best, you got to deserve it. So for me, if I'm gonna get the best, you got to deserve it. I don't mind going in and just being for certain chicks and just being like, yeah, I did it. So what? I think a part of that comes from the fact that I used to hang out. I used to drink a little bit, socially. So, the mindset is different when you're in that situation. It's just kind of like, whatever, you know? I think nowadays, as I grew up, though, it became sometimes where it's like, nah, I didn't want to. There's times in life where you don't want to leave a lasting impression, and there's times in life where you do. Okay,
Nah, for me, it was like I always
that's
felt
just
one
me.
bad review could ruin you.
Not for me. Not for me. Because there's certain people when I look at it, like I said, I used to go out a lot, right? So I used to go out, strip clubs, different things like that. So for me, I didn't care. Sometimes I didn't care if I had a bad review because it was like the crowd that I was with. You could get them a bad review because I don't want them calling me or knocking on my door or trying to find me or nothing. I know who you hang with. I'm good. This wasn't even supposed to happen. I just got a little more tipsy than I was supposed to get. So I didn't care about a good review in
Nah,
those
this was about
situations.
me and my own self worth.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me,
Every time it was like Jordan, I took that personal.
Yeah, see, for me, I did. It took a while before I decided to start taking stuff personal, and after that, it was like, all right, I gotta do what I gotta do, and it became one of those things where I still knowing that I was looking for or trying to be in a relationship where I could settle down. I didn't want to be, want my name out in the streets anymore because it was like, yo, that's why I disappeared off the map. I like to tell people I disappeared off the map, right? For a number of years, I got rid of social media, stopped social media, all that, because I wanted to give my name time to clear the streets, so that way I could focus on my relationship, right? And then you focus on I could be Superman every day. Because to me, when I go out there, if I go out there and I'm killing it every time, now your name is in the streets regularly. And that just adds into the pain of already when you're in a relationship, it's already bad enough that women can sense and smell that you have a woman, so they want you just because they know you're taken. That's bad enough. When you add on top of that, I could tell he's taken, and when you add on top of that, oh, I done heard about him. It's double the trouble for nothing. Like if you're not trying to go anywhere, then it's double the trouble for nothing. Now, if you're a dude who's in an open relationship or you're single, that's a different story. Or if you're in a relationship where it might not last, that's a different story. Y'all gonna know my name. Y'all gonna speak about me. Okay, I'm here. I'm dressed to impress. You know what I'm saying? My name is gonna be written on these streets, in the halls, and in the walls. The neighbors gonna know my name.
But see, you social. I'm not social, so I even if I lay the best pipe and 15 chicks were saying my name, you couldn't find me in the first goddamn place.
Well, see, that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. Because I used to go out. You're right. I was very much social. I'm not now, but I was very much social. If I kept doing what I was doing, I would have continued to be very much social. I'm a better me now because I'm less social.
I ain't
Because I
never been
stopped
social.
doing what I was doing early on.
I get off
better
from I,
version of
I get done from
myself.
work and I come straight smooth home. I might stop get something on the way. I might stop get some groceries on the way. I get off work. I'm headed to the house. If you need help with something, let me know before I make it to the house. At most, because it's not warm all year around here. We had certain basketball courts. If it was a nice day, I get off work, pull up to the basketball court, play basketball, straight home. Like if it wasn't to play, if I wasn't playing basketball that day, it was errands on the way home. Once I get to the house, hey, Shawty, if it ain't an emergency, don't call me. You need somebody to go with you to fight somebody? Let me know tomorrow. As soon as I get off work, we can go handle that. When we handle that, going home.
Yeah, see, I was the dude that got out of school, go home, didn't go out, figure where I was going to hang out at. Most of the time it was just in the neighborhood, the areas around the neighborhood, whatever. Then it got to a point where I started taking the bus all over the place. And it was, I was an athlete and a musician back in the day. I was
He was a
actually,
singer.
yes, I could sing my behind off back in the day. And I had a problem because I was singing girls right out of the panties. Sing them right out of the panties. Easy. It was easy. It was too easy. So I had to I had to have self-awareness even back then to say no to some things. Um, because I mean, if I'm being honest, if I said yes to everything,
Yeah,
I'd
I
probably
mean,
be at
if I'm being honest, I said yes to everything.
I'd probably be at like 200-300 and change. And I'm just grateful I'm not. You know what I mean?
I don't even think I know 200 or 300 people do this lifetime.
Bro, my numbers would have been outrageous if I said yes to everything. Outrageous. I
I
know
don't
a
even
guy I
talk
worked
to
with.
4 people I don't know a day. Like we were at work and we were talking about it. So I was like, outside of work and random interactions where people might ask you, hey, do you know XYZ? Or, my family's from the South. So we learn if you make eye contact with somebody, say, give away what's up, head nod or something. I don't have a conversation with more than 4 people outside of work that I don't know in a day, sometimes in days.
You know what's funny about that? I was outside of work. I don't
Yeah,
either.
if I'm not at work or,
Um,
I go in the store to buy something, something like that, like I don't have random conversations with strangers.
I
Like
so
I probably maybe 4 or 5 in a week at the most. Like I get my social interactions for the day is work and family, and people already know. And I don't talk to most of my friends, but every couple of days, if that. Some of them for months at a time. Like there's people that I talk to, but for the most part, the only person I talk to every day is my mom because she texts me every morning. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Cool. But I mean, and she started that because there was times where I probably go a fucking week or more, and she wouldn't hear from me. She's like, "What the hell is wrong with this boy?" And I just be in my own little world. Like I'm not like if you don't pass this bubble, I might forget you
yeah,
exist because I'm just so
yeah.
in solitude that if you're, for I'm so in solitude that I was like, hey, yeah, let me call this person. Then I forget.
For me, outside of my family, once I'm out of work, and I got a few friends I talk to every once in a blue moon that I used to work with, stuff like that. People I used to play Call of Duty with, but it's mostly like you guys that's in the community. Um, that I've considered their family now. So, but outside of that, if I'm in the store, if somebody starts a random conversation, I can hold a conversation no problem. Um, like I was at a customer's house. I ended up I was talking. Me and the dude ended up talking about everything. His wife offered me a muffin. I ate the muffin. Brought another one home. Like so, I'm still very much capable of being outgoing like I used to be, but it's not often when I think about it. Outside of work, if I'm off the clock, no, I'm not just talking to random people or meeting anybody different. It's kind of crazy, actually. Other than like here on YouTube, but as far as in person, these days, I'm usually in the house. I focus on me, my family, my kids, and that's that. But I think that's a part of why I calmed down. I'm happy I calmed down so drastically when I did because I used to be out all the time. I used to go out all the time, meet random people, random places, have conversations, whatever. That I used to do it all the time. It's easy breezy for me. It's part of who I was. Um, but that's going completely different. And I think that kind of helps me and as far as relationships go, that kind of helps me because helps me stay focused and
The
maintain
energy.
my energy where it needs to be. Yeah, rather than you know, being off drifting somewhere else about anything, whether it be hearing some dumb thought on politics outside, or even like you see how I get when I see certain Ravens fans post certain things that I don't like.
Yeah.
So when I sit in the house and I maintain my focus on where it needs to be, it makes things a lot easier for me because
But where
I can only
where does
imagine
yours
that.
come from though?
What my
That
distractions
you that
or
you're that you're more like this now. Where does that come from?
that's just honestly it just came from well for one church and praying, but it's just a kind of a switch I flipped. I literally just flipped the switch one day and was like, I don't need all this outside noise. I don't need it. I don't care for it. And it's one of the things my wife actually gets on me a lot because she says I should do TikTok. That I'd be really good for TikTok because of how outgoing I am, and
Wow, really?
being
You
able
don't
to.
say.
That's what she
Can you
says.
tell us
She says
more?
I'd be really good for TikTok because of all my, me being able to talk to people, being able to get on camera, and if I have to hold a show or do something for an hour or 2 hours by myself, She's like, you're completely capable. She says she would never be able to do it. I'm like, you're the one with 1,000 followers on there. You go live on there. I won't do it. But she keeps trying to push me to do TikTok. But she says I'd be completely capable. But that part of me kind of went out the window when I tossed everything to the side. Because to me, TikTok is one of those places where it's nothing but noise. See, I can get on YouTube or even the Twitch if I had to get on Twitch because it's focused around certain things. It's not open to everything where like a TikTok where they're posting whether it be, you know, thoughts. Basically a bunch of people trying to get you to their OnlyFans, stupid world views, uh, different things where I just don't want to hear it. Um, so to block out a lot of that noise, I get rid of stuff. Like I don't have a TikTok account anymore. I don't have the app. She again, like I said, because of my personality, she says I should do it, but I stay away from it. It was part of what when I hit that click where I was just like, I need to eliminate the outside world, and that's why I barely be on Facebook unless I'm looking at reels or unless my mom sent me something on there or I send my wife something on there or she sends me something on there from the reels. So it's just
That's
I
the
don't know, man. It's quieting everything out, blacking everything out around me. That's all.
yeah. That's a big. It's a big change that a lot of people make, but unfortunately, I cheated. So my grandfather pretty much like we knew what time he was going to be home. if he wasn't home by 5:05 to 5:10 on the nose, he stopped at the grocery store. He played his numbers, got his Pepsi, might have got some chocolate, some Munchos chips, or he actually went to the grocery store to get groceries. Or my grandmother asked him to do something. This man woke up, went to work, he came home. Even when they first got together, when he would go and hang out, he would hang out with her brothers. So she didn't worry. She didn't have to worry about where her boyfriend was, who then later became her husband. If he's out with my brothers. They're not going to let anything happen to him. They're not going to let him do anything stupid that would disrespect me either. So she had no worries. But by the time I knew who my grandfather was, he had his friends at work. He had a couple friends here and there. But soon as that 5 o'clock hit, all right, straighten up. Granddad's about walking the door. You don't want to be the one doing XYZ because that belt will come out. Like it was just Monday through Friday. And he got home. Don't call him for if it ain't like dire needs, don't call him for nothing. But if my grandmother said, "Hey, I wanted this for dinner, we don't have it in the house," that man will be in that car and at the store in the next 5 minutes.
Shout out Matthew Manuel, real quick. He does trading. Really great advice on stocks. If you want to learn anything about stocks and portfolios and trading, go follow him immediately. Dude's really nice guy. Good content, goes live every day when the stock market opens. Great follow there. That's for any of you out there that may be interested in getting your money up, because I'm definitely trying to do that. So I've learned a lot watching all of his content and then being on his lives every day. Good dude too. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, so basically you're that part of you being in the house was always built in from the ground up. So
it's just what I've known.
Yeah, see, for me, it was slightly different because and I think I've said this a million times probably on the channel, but my father passed away when I was young. So he was murdered when I was 3. So my mom was a single parent, and she did a phenomenal job raising me. So I'll give her all the credit in the world. Ma, love you, thank you, appreciate you. Coming up, I kind of, my mom would get home, she would rest. While she's resting, I would go outside and play. I'd have my friends in the neighborhood, and that's kind of where my socialism, that's where my socialism came from. I was also in church, so I was raised in church, so those things help you be more social. And then again, my mom though, it's a funny story. She stuck to me like glue. If back when I was an only child, if I was in school, she would get a job as a bus aide or teacher's aide, so that she would be around. There was nowhere I couldn't go at the time when I was younger that she wasn't there. But growing up, she also let me become I formed that role of like man in the house, because my brother, and then she had my brother, and things happened there, and then my sisters were born, a lot of stuff went on there. As I formed that role of being man in the house, and I earned that respect of, she knew I could go out and make good decisions, the more and more I drifted and was outside the house. You know what I mean? Still did my thing, handled what I had to handle inside the house, but I was outside a lot. And that's what kind of made me just the socialite that I was because I was outside, and I earned that. I earned that right to go out and kind of be that social person, that social butterfly, so to speak, that I was, because she taught me so well. And I had respect, and all the parents in the neighborhood loved me, so they let their kids hang out with me because they loved how respectable I was and all that. So I guess thank you to her because if it wasn't for her in the first place, I probably wouldn't be on here. I wouldn't be on here. I was like, I would not be on a camera able to talk. You know what I mean? So
You're just looking around like, yeah. So here's what we're gonna do today.
exactly. So today,
Well, you're saying you'd be
yeah.
like me. Okay, cool.
And not even, man. You're a lot better than you claim you are. I won't put that out there. But even her, I mean, it was even my mom. You know, my mom and my dad were both into football. But like I said, my father passed early, so it was my mom that actually kept me into football when I was younger. She's not as into it now, but she was actually a Giants fan. So funny thing, her being a Giants fan, and my sister's father was a Giants fan. Well, guess who was playing in the Super Bowl this one year? The Ravens versus the Giants. And I had happened
Ooh.
to end up a Ravens fan. So
And that was a beating like no tomorrow that they
yes,
took.
and the Ravens was my first team that I chose them. Like in '96, I chose the Ravens. I don't even remember what made me choose them. I remember watching something about them being an expansion team, and I think it was the announcement of the logo. So it's what made me a Baltimore Ravens fan. And
You got to see something from the start.
running around that house that day is something that never leaves my mind. As bad as my memory is, and it never leaves. When I was running around the house, I'd run in the living room because I watched the game in my room. I was like, y'all Giants fans, I can't watch with y'all. So I watched it in my room. Every time a big play happened, run out, open the door. Whose house is this? Ravens' house. Whose house is this? Ravens. You thought I was Ray Lewis in the crib. You thought I was.
I'm
Ray
glad
Lewis
you survived that night without getting permanently injured.
No, man. That's the thing. No, my mom was fun. So all the kids in the neighborhood love my mom too because your mom is cool, Reg. Your mom is cool. My mom was fun. So when the Giants, if the Giants did anything good, she'd do the same thing. She come burst my door open. So when they had that one kick return, for a touchdown, she came bust my room door open. Yeah, who house is it now? Who house is it now? I was like, we'll get it back. We'll get it back. And darn sure, we returned it and we got it back. Got the kick return back immediately. And man, you talking about being lit on fire after that. And after
Did you
that,
hear that ding sound that just went off?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Dog did his little
Dude,
shake off, his tail hit the metal, and all I heard was ding. I was like, that don't hurt.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
I just remember
it
after
sounded like
that,
it
bro.
hurt. So I was like, bruh, it sounded like a tuning fork. I don't know what his tail is built with, but I heard that also. Ooh, that had there. He just walked off like it wasn't nothing. I was like, yeah, you a thug. Okay, I see.
Yeah, he thugger. Hey, listen, that we beat the Giants so bad in that Super Bowl. My mom became a Patriots fan. My mom went and jumped on the Patriots bandwagon as soon as they won that next Super Bowl. And if you ask her now, she's been a Patriots fan forever. She hasn't watched football over the last few years, but she's checked in every once in a while. She's seen Lamar Jackson play. She's like, that boy is bad. She's like, he could play. I like him. And I was like, yeah, he is. But we beat them so bad, she became a freaking Patriots fan. Another funny fact about it is my wife used to be a Giants fan way before I met her. But now she's a Ravens fan now. After watching us play and feeling that Raven energy, especially since she went to the game with me when we went to the game against the Chiefs. It was the only
At
time
the bank.
and yeah, at the bank. You know what I'm saying? When we beat the Chiefs at the bank, Sunday night football. What a night it was, man. It was an amazing night. Amazing night. Absolutely loved it. But I say all that to say my bringing up both of us, as we've said, the way we were brought up shaped who we became. So being a socialite was because of how I was brought up, right? You being
I mean,
an introvert, being like, I don't really trust people. I don't want to be around people. It's because of the way you were brought up.
now sports, I could be real social if we was playing football or basketball. I could get social for that real quick.
I mean, that's everybody, right? If you're in a sport, that competitiveness takes over. That takes over. And I was one of those dudes that I would let you hear it. I would let you hear it. And people hated it because I was an athlete. I was a phenomenal athlete back in the day. People hated it. I remember we were playing football at the park and we played tackle. No pads. Who cares? We're on grass, dirt. I even played on the concrete, tackle on the concrete once in Blue Moon. I stopped that once, though. I'll tell you the story for that in a little bit. But I remember hitting the guy and I hit him so hard. His body, it wasn't like a regular tackle. Like he jumped up for the ball and I speared him out the air and landed with my shoulder all in his body. His body print was in the ground when we got up. Like he walked out of a divot. And every time he walked over that part of the field, there was a divot where his body landed. It was hilarious. Because for the rest of the day, there's like, yo, you keep hitting him like that, he's going to get a gun and he's going to shoot you. Because there's no reason to hit him that hard. I was like, I hit everybody that hard, though. That's just what I did. I left my mark. But to go back to the other story real quick, playing tackle football in the street wasn't my idea. So it was a bunch of us. We was like, all right, yeah, let's play a little football. We used to play right in front of my house, right in the street. And we moved whenever a car came. And it's funny because I lived on a hill. And my house was like the only straight, flat part of the hill. So that's why we played there. But somebody goes, oh, let's play tackle. Let's go to the park, play tackle. I said, some of the kids couldn't go. Their parents didn't want them going that far from the house. So, oh, I can't. All right. So, my backyard was big enough, but then at the same time, it was a lot smaller. So it was like, well, I was like, we go in my backyard, play tackle, but it was a little bit of a slant. It was a little weird to play football back there. So my cousin goes, now we can play tackle right here in the street. He was one of those. My cousin was one of those. All right, cool. Let's play here in the street then. I wasn't afraid.
Gangster.
Yeah, I wasn't afraid. They could barely tackle me. They couldn't catch me. I was too fast anyway. So I wasn't worried about it. My cousin hits this one kid. He hits the ground. And you know how the gutter comes up on the curb and you got the grate there. He hit him and they landed on that. A chunk of the kid's forehead came out. Right smack dab in the middle. And they get up. And he's like, oh, he must not felt it at first. He's like, oh, my head hurt. And they're like, yo, you're bleeding. He goes, what? He goes like this, sticks 2 fingers inside his head. Probably about as deep as that first knuckle almost. It comes out and it was like, yo, you're missing a part of your head. Like we had to call an ambulance.
That happened to a guy with us, and we were playing on grass. It was this kid named Carl. Carl was fast. He was one of them shifty guys. Alex goes to tackle Carl, and I think it was Danny with the tackle Carl at the same time. Carl hits a Lamar and just hits a spin move to the left. They collide. Alex has a square chunk of his forehead like missing. There's still a scar there today. Alex has to be, I'm 35, so Alex has to be at least 31, 32. There's still that square scar there till this day. Yeah. To where they had to it literally messed up. They literally sewed his skull back to his skull.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what they had to do with this guy. I remember when they came to pick him up. They were looking. They were like, "Do you guys see?" I gotta say this real quick. Put it back in there.
I gotta say this real quick.
Put it back in there. I was like, that thing then dissolved.
These motherfuckers out there, monkey ass motherfuckers.
He said, "That's why I play defense. Ain't nobody trying to get hit like that."
No.
I agree. I agree.
$6,000 for a 2007 motorcycle.
6,000.
Thomas garage kept. Now it's a $750. Now
I don't know how motorcycles age though.
So they don't age terribly. But in my mind, and just like this Christmas, because in my mind, because he must be Christmas pine high. I know this bike was $7,000 to $8,000 when it first came out. There's no way it's only lost $2,000 in value in 18 years.
Well, hold on. You're forgetting about inflation.
Even for inflation, I can get one of these brand new for under 11 with a payment plan. You want $6K cash up front for a bike that's 18 years old, and you say garage kept, but it can make it 500 miles, and then I got to figure out 2007.
Yeah. Jeez.
I can look up a one with less than 10,000 miles on it, which is not much for a bike. With less than 10,000 miles on it right now, and get it for 9 or 10,000 out of a dealership that's been inspected.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
You want 6K straight cash on a hope and dream that joint is right. Dude said he's looking to buy a 750 motor for a salvage from Salvage Crash. It could be a 2006, 2007 motor. He said, I know a guy selling 2007 750. I asked how much. He said 6K. I think 6K garage kept. I ain't even responding to that. You'd have said like 3,000.
Did they say how? Did he say how many miles was on it?
It could have 5 miles on it. The fact that I could get one for low miles for $3,000 or $4,000 more that I can get a warranty on it, I can still get a warranty on. I can still get the parts for it because I have a 2005, and only a few years ago, I had to find an ECU because my ECU was actually bad. That was the only problem with the bike. I had to search high and low. I found 3 places that sold that ECU, and I had to pay $110 for this fucking ECU. I only found 3, and I can find anything, any part, anywhere. I can find it for you. I can only find 3 in the entire world on the World Wide Web. So you buy that 2007 and something goes wrong with it, you're gonna have more problem getting parts than actually getting it fixed.
Yeah. So that's a pipe dream. Six
yeah.
Pipe dream.
Even at this point, my mechanic
unless you got parts saved up.
Right. My mechanic be like, I'll work on it, but you're gonna have to find the parts. He's like, I can check if I can find the parts, but you're gonna have to find the parts most likely because it's a 2005. So if I know it's wrong, I order the parts before I even take it to him.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, man. I'm a 4-wheel guy instead of 2 anyway. You put me on 2 wheels, I promise you, if I leave today, you look at me right now, I could leave this house, go get on something with 2 wheels, come back, you're not gonna know who I am. I'd have hit the ground so many times.
It's like going out right now and buying a 74 Chevelle for $50K. Like even if that's a good price for it, anything goes wrong, we're gonna get the parts because they'd be like, it's parts matching, all original made GM parts, which means I'm paying $50K based on being able to find the original type parts GM put in it. If the carburetor goes bad and GM no longer makes it, this $50K car I done bought is now $15K because it's not all original parts matching. So at that point, me paying $6K for that bike is insane because even if I get a good price for it, anything goes wrong, I gotta find the parts for it. If that bike falls one time in an accident, it's gonna be totaled out, and I'm not gonna get $6,000 for it. I might get $2,700 for it. The last time I checked the value on my bike, they'll give you $2,700 just because. But
yeah,
like they're gonna give you the value for it. So if I buy that shit for $6K and somebody hits me right now, I may get $3K at the most. Through no fault of my own.
If I get on something with 2 wheels and somebody hits me, I'm probably not getting back up. I'm just gonna leave that alone. So listen, I see that. So I point out the same thing because I love Mopar. So if you look for a 446 pack right now, one in mint condition, it's probably gonna cost you north of $100,000, right?
That's if it's numbers matching.
Numbers matching, yep, numbers matching, and it's mint condition. You still have the issue of you could probably drive that thing once, maybe twice a year. because you don't want to risk anything happening to it because
Right.
finding parts be almost impossible. You're at that point with those older cars, you're looking through scrap yards and everything you can think of to try to find another older car just to get parts off of them. So it's a tough thing. But when you get one, man, because I would love, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, I'd love to get me a old Charger 69 Charger, something like that, Challenger from back in the day. Let it sit in the lot. Get the old Dukes of Hazzard Charger. Just let it sit around, look at it, drive it once in a blue moon.
That's
I
what
would
we're gonna
love
say to
that.
General Lee.
I'm not there yet. That's not what my pockets don't say that yet. My pockets is more along the lines of, hey, I'll pay you a couple bucks to let me look at it. Nah, I'm not buying one of those anytime soon. I'm not there yet. Well, can I get there one day? Absolutely. And I plan on getting there one day. But yeah, no, not gonna happen as of right now.
Oh yeah, I
Brother,
sent your
ahead.
boy Matthew Manuel to 2 people that I know that do a lot of trading. I told them they should check him out. So any hope?
Appreciation. Yeah, they should definitely check them out, man. If they want to grow them pockets, that's one way to do it is through trading. This man knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. I done got some. I don't win some and I done lost some because I take some bad trades every once in a while. I gotta make sure I pay more attention, focus more. But it usually when I take the bad trades is because I'm working and I'm just kind of skimming through. And I gotta kind of train myself more to sit back in the days when I'm really busy at work. Don't take any trades. Just kind of watch and see what the market does. But I get impatient and I gotta control that. And yes, but yeah, and he's really good with that, man. Really good with that. You gotta check it out.
That's what
Somehow
you be trying to make.
we've
You be
approached,
trying to make 100,000 on the walkthrough. That's what it is.
you already know. You already know. Somehow we've approached 2 hours on this show. I know I told you before. I said I was only gonna stay for an hour. It's been 2.
Oh, Hendo's here. We gotta do another hour.
All right, man. Stay blessed. See you. Hendo, big dog. For those of you who ain't subscribed, go check on my boy Hendo at the Rogue Pod. That's the big
So
dog.
if Hendo
Man,
gets on
sponsor right
screen
there.
right now, we will go till midnight.
That's not true because I'm getting off of here as we speak. Hendo, I'm sad you showed up at the end of the show. I'm sorry. Go, but you go back, check it out whenever you want.
Look,
It's there.
Hendo ain't trying
Nice
to get on no
2 hour
live stream
stream
with
for
us.
you. And don't let him talk you into getting on the stream now because that's not fair.
We've
Look,
been on live stream with Hendo in what almost a year and a half, 2 years.
yeah, it's been a while. I don't know about a year and a half, 2 years, but it's been a while. It's been a
It's
while.
been at least
And
that
then,
because it was
not gonna happen, sir.
It was before draft time of my birthday, at least last year. The best, so okay, maybe a year and 2 or 3 months. But I know it was because I bought the Rogue Pod hoodie that he had, and it was another hoodie he had because it was the middle of winter.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not doing another hour. I appreciate the offer though, but I'm not doing another hour. I do want to say this though. That run him and
Come
Yolanda
on, Red, you gotta get your shine on.
That run him and Yolanda went on was absolutely amazing. I need them to do it again this year. I need them to go ahead and do it again this year.
I'm trying to figure out where Yolanda been at.
She did disappear. I don't know what's going on. I'm not gonna speculate. I'm gonna say I hope all is well. Hope she's good. Hope everything's all right. She got to come out of hiding. Football season is about to be upon us. Okay. So we're gonna need all the streamers we can get.
Before Owe have another bad season, she gonna go into Witsec now while he on a high note.
I'll say this. I will put this out there. This is just a thought. The Ravens make the Super Bowl. I say we get as many of us as possible onto a stream. If the Ravens make the Super Bowl, get as many of us as possible onto a stream, and just have a good old time.
I think if you upgrade all the way, I think you have like 16 people.
Yeah, so Hendo says she just work stuff. She's been busy at work, and she hiding
No,
from.
I know she fine. I just figured she avoided live streaming because Owe gonna have another down year, and let's be honest with it. When he had another down year, she ain't trying to be around for that.
I wouldn't mind that if we're doing the 24-hour stream if the Ravens win the Super Bowl, and we just alternate.
And Jerry Lewis telethon jump.
Alternate people in and out. Yeah. Why not? You alternate people in and out so people can get rest and then jump back in.
I can only do about an hour at a time because I got to eat between time and the meantime. Y'all be hating.
Yeah, but you just pushed me to a 2-hour stream. Talking about doing another.
No, I mean I just need a break to eat and then we can come back because Jose don't want to see no stream.
Do another hour.
Yeah, I ain't finna starve.
He said, "I don't need rest if they win." I think we'll all be pumped.
We're gonna be turned.
But if they win,
a Super Bowl,
my energy is gonna be through the roof for like 30 seconds.
I'm not coming in for the next week. I tell you, if we win a Super Bowl Sunday, I'm not coming to work this week. Understand this. Know it. Realize that it's the case.
I can see that just to celebrate. I'd come out that mug just to be at the parade. I swear I would. I have to come out there to go be at the parade, whatever. I got to if they win, right? Got to. Bring the whole family out there, drag them out there for it too. It is what it is. And then we all got to get up again and go out. That's another thing. We're looking for another meet and greet at some point.
They say that might be next year.
I'd love to see that happen again at some point. I mean, it ain't got to be to that scale, to that size.
I need it every year.
It ain't got to be to that size, but
we can rent out a rec center for all I care.
Just a hangout. Just a few of us, if it has to be. It doesn't have to be on a massive scale, where we invite everybody. As long as we, what I mean, get the family together and have a good time.
Get one of them little rec centers. They got them in. I think what we paid. I think we paid like $800 or $900 for the whole day for a rec center that was like 150 people. Got some food catered. That was wedding reception.
That would be awesome. I would. My whole problem is that I'd have to know far ahead of time to put in for work, and I'd have to be able to. My lady should be home, so that would be fine scheduling that. She does have a vacation coming up, but that's soon. That's nowhere near football time. So, but yeah, we gonna get up out of here. 2 hours. Again, he I don't know how he gets me to do these every once in a while. But Mr. Ghost, you want to tell them where they can find you, sir?
It's Ghost, YouTube, Blue Sky. Outside of that, I'm back in the shadows.
I hear that. And as y'all know, for me, right here, boy Big Reg on Big Boy Talk. As far as other social medias, I do have Twitter. I do have Twitch. I even have. I don't really rock with my Facebook like that. That's more of a,
Yeah, Mr. Clark.
Than anything else. Yeah. I got Blue Sky as well, but I haven't posted on there in like forever.
You got Blue Sky? You ain't even follow, brother? Wow, that's crazy.
I had Blue Sky before you did.
You ain't never pop up on there?
I should have. I've had it forever. I had it back when they first brought it up. When I first heard it from LBHT. Well, the first time Jose mentioned it on stream, I was like, Blue Sky, what's that? I went and downloaded it and made an account. I just never touched it since. I think I'm even following them up there and Hendo. So yeah, I gotta go look up. I gotta get up there and look for you. What are you doing?
LBHT even re-blue skied me. I don't even know what you call it. I get reposted, re-skied.
Oh man, re-skied. That's crazy. It'll be interesting to see if that app actually like takes off. You know what I mean? It's doing good, I guess, for a starter app. But
Man,
really
them fish
that'd be
think that
interesting.
they're meat. Like I'm telling them fish are right now 2 feet away from me. They're all lined up looking at me, waiting for me to feed them even more food. I fed them twice since 5 o'clock.
It's not enough.
They beg
Sir.
for food. They beg for food more than a dog.
It's not enough. My cat's kind of the same way though.
They are yay big. What all do they need? Like literally
but
that big.
They're probably pooping it out immediately. I don't know. They got a fast
I can
metabolism, just like you. Look at
I
you.
can see one right now. His stomach is still stuffed, and he will be waiting for the next pellet. His guy's gonna be constipated. Keep playing.
Look at you though. You eat a lot too. You ball skinny as a twig, man.
First of all, I'm a good 190 to 210 at any given moment.
Y'all share the same metabolism. We're gonna
Post
leave
move
it
shot.
on
When I throw
that.
that post hit you with that Lajuan, yeah, you ain't gonna be talking about all that.
we gonna leave it at that. He share the same metabolism as the fish over there. Go feed your fish. Y'all y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining us. We love you. Peace out. Stay blessed.